breakdown of communication of what the difference is between being healthy, wealthy, and being hood rich. No one wants to be hood rich.
Yeah, it goes quickly, and it really is like the whole keeping up with the Joneses. It's so cliche, but that saying, it just never goes away.
Right.
Francis, in regards to teaching mathematics, do you see an opportunity to kind of get into financial literacy at all? I know it might not be able to tie in, or do you see certain things in your field where it's starting to appear on the school level?
Yes, I mean, one thing I love about like where I'm working is, I mean, we are Common Core aligned, but if I could find that alignment and see, okay, can I work that in? I do. So in my big exponential units, we talk about compound interest, continuously compound interest. We think about different savings accounts and different like loans that you can get and what a credit score is. So that's a way to tie it in. And since I predominantly teach ninth graders, I get that to them early. I think on a bigger scale and thinking of, can we do this on a district level? How do we get that in our curriculum? That's a bigger challenge. And I think that can start by, hey, a bunch of math teachers getting together, a district head, also sitting down. And these are math teachers that need to get together who teach in charter schools, who teach in private schools, who teach in the traditional public schools. We're teaching this community, right? They're not being all bussed into Boston. If anything, the METCO program's going the opposite way. So how can we make sure we're getting all these like people to the table to have a discussion on, hey, how can we talk about this financial literacy piece and make sure that the students are getting that education?
That's you know, in kind of talking about this is a segue because the big part of it is really fundraising, and our own financial literacy comes into. You can only do this organization, this alumni organization, if you have the funds to do it. In regards to, you are officially at 501. We're at 501c3 status as an alumni organization currently, right?
Yes.
All right. And what's the next step in regards to taking that on and managing the funds that come through? What do you need next? What's the next step? It's the tax-free or a tax exemption?
Yeah, so we want to be able to apply for the tax exemption status. Just as a little brief history, back when I was graduating in 2005, that's when the Alumni Association was starting as a brainchild. And one of the people who was leading it, he went to his law, went to school for law. So he's like, hey, I want to pass the bar. So he had to pass it on to someone else, and then it kind of like fizzled out. So initially when it started, they had tax exempt. We had tax exempt status. Now we don't, because there's a lot of things you have to do. You have to file your taxes. There's a lot of things that you have to do due diligence for, and we don't have that right now. And it costs about $400, and we are operating off of a very low budget because we're only 2 years really since we revitalized and relaunched the Alumni Association. For us to have the operation. We have a website, we have bank accounts. So the next step would be getting that tax exempt status, so that way when people are giving donations, whether it's to the Legacy Fund, which goes directly to scholarships for seniors, or the General Operations Fund, which may sound very broad, but that goes to running our alumni mentoring program. That goes to making sure that the alumni barbecue is free every year, and other host of little events. So it's not lying in my pocket. This isn't a full-time job. I do this on quarter time, not even part-time. So I want to make sure that people are aware of that that's where the funds are going. And we got to, personally, we as an organization need to do a better job on like letting people know like where their funds directly go. And I think that would give us more donations in the long run.
It just offers a little, so you kind of saying it offers a little more transparency in regards to, so people know right where it is. It's not an issue of, oh, where's my, where did my $2 or whatever go? They'll know. They'll see it through the quality and the enrichment of the alumni organization.
Because people give to people, they don't give to organizations. If you're running the organization and I know you and I like you, you're more likely to get a check from me. If I don't really know you, I'm not going to just give to your organization. So people give to people, they don't give to organizations.
What kind of resources are there for people like, Francis, who are starting a non-for-profit? Does the Treasury have like a guidance for that as well? Or does that kind of fall into a different organization, different part of the state?
Mostly under probably the Secretary of State, since he handles all the 501c3
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But, I mean, there are lots of organizations that partner with people who are starting, a 501c3 that have already been through it. I know the Urban League does that.
Yeah.
So I would, as great as Francis is, I mean, partnering with someone would probably be a great step.
Absolutely, and hopefully, if there are any current alumni out there, then that's what we're trying to start the conversation on here, and then we'll give you the opportunity to reach out to us and give us advice on our social media, on our website. What's the website again for the O'Briens?
Yes, so it's bryanttech.org. So all one word, bryanttech.org. And that's part of like this whole networking piece, right? I mean, we have Boston Tech alumni, we have O'Brien alumni. How do we make sure that we're recognizing
and
that?
mechanical arts.
And mechanical arts. Like, how do we make sure that we're recognizing all alumni, and what do we have in common? We're all Tigers. That's why it's called Tiger Talk. And there's so many alumni out there who are doing great things. I was writing a short list before this, but the Boston Police Department Superintendent-in-Chief, Grouse, Boston Tech. We have a lot of engineers. Albin Colby, he works as a mechanical engineer at Optimus Ride. He MIT graduate, went there full ride because of what he did at O'Brien. Nancy Duyen, Jim Manatu, they both work at Google and they do amazing stuff. They're both women of color. They do a lot of outreach, especially, also one of them works in France. So we have alumni, we have a big network, and it's about bringing them to the table to know that, hey, we have this connection. Let's make sure that the students are currently getting the best experience. So when we think about our experience and what we didn't get, like, let's do what we can to make sure that they are getting that experience. So whether that's through being mentors for the Alumni Mentoring Program, which we're still accepting applications till November 20th. Whether it's
November 20th, and they can get that information on the website.
Yeah, on the website. Also, they could email directly at, with a long email, jdobbtaa@gmail.com.
And we will, if we don't flash it on the screen this episode, we'll definitely get on the next one, because that just takes that's a lot of characters right there.
Well, I think the other thing too is a lot of classes have sort of broken out before the Alumni Association. So I know for the class of '98, we did our 10-year reunion, and we are pretty tight knit. We have our own Facebook page, and we sort of do things together. We're trying to include other classes. And that's something that we're working on. I don't know how I became sort of the de facto organizer for class of '98. We had a class president, and we had a class VP. Actually, Liz Miranda was our class president, and she's so busy doing really great work in the community. She's an excellent community organizer. But we're trying to sort of not be so rogue and come back in.
We're going to close out soon, probably about a minute from now. And what I want to do is basically we like to ask whomever comes on the show, what advice do you have for a junior at the O'Brien?
Apply.
Doesn't have to be Sage. Can be any.
Sage wisdom. Apply to any and everything you can get your hands on. I never tell anyone, don't apply. Just apply to everything. Something will come your way.
And regardless, too, of what you perceive it to be, maybe that's not for me. Maybe
Right.
it's just a culture I'm not going to be involved in.
You never know who's on the
you
other
never
end
know.
of that, saying, of course I'll give that person a chance.
Well, that's a great closing note. I appreciate the both of you being on the show. Please, I hope to have you back. And if you know of anybody who wants to be a guest, send them our way or have them tune in on BNN TV, and we'll be there. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is another episode of Tiger Talk. My name's Paul Mullins. Thank you to my crew, and thank you to my guests, Jacquetta Van Zandt and Francis Pina. Have a great day.
Yeah.